In June last year, China provoked India. It attacked Indian soldiers in Galwan. 20 Indian soldiers were killed in action. China lost more men, but it never acknowledged their sacrifice. For the first time since the 1980s, blood was shed on the India-China border. Then China started talking about peace. But as always, its actions do not match its words. China is engaging in fresh provocations. More than a year after the clashes at Galwan, China is escalating the border standoff. Chinese troop deployments are now at their highest levels in decades. As China stonewalled India during talks, the PLA sent more troops to the disputed border. It has deployed more advanced weapons. It has built structures that will serve as permanent bases for Chinese soldiers. Earlier this week, we told you how India is shifting its defense focus from Pakistan to China, how India is preparing to match the Chinese deployments at the border. Tonight, we'll tell you what's happening on the other side, on the Chinese side, how Beijing is escalating tensions at the border. Reports say that in the past few months, the People's Liberation Army has gradually increased its troop presence. Now there are 50,000 Chinese soldiers at the border. This is an increase of about 15,000 since last year. Back in July 2020, China had 35,000 odd soldiers at the border. Where are these soldiers? Mostly in eastern Ladakh. That's where a bulk of the buildup has taken place. This is also the region which was at the center of the recent standoff. Earlier, we reported how India is redeploying 50,000 more troops to the China front. Total number of Indian soldiers on the border, 200,000. They're spread out across the line of actual control. And sources tell us that China has about the same number of soldiers on the LAC. And this is only one part of India's challenge, the Chinese troops. The second part is their bases. The PLA is building bases to station soldiers permanently. Reports say China has built hundreds of new structures to support troops. These are military encampments, a collection of huts and structures where troops can stay. Where is this happening? In two towns, Rudok, that is in Tibet's Ladakh frontier, and Kangsiwar, a forward post for Aksai Chin. It sits between Tibet and the Xinjiang region. Now, China is equipping these areas with modern facilities and military fortification. It is believed that the Chinese forces have dug underground bunkers and tunnels here. They have installed portable cabins and huts for troops, helipads and field hospitals. They have arranged power supply too. Reports say China has built small hydroelectric power stations. They've also installed solar panels. At the camp in Rudok alone, we are told around 20 permanent and temporary structures have been erected. They can house 15 to 18,000 troops. So what is the message that China is trying to send here? Talks are only a formality, perhaps a time-buying tactic. In the meantime, a massive force is being readied at the border. What about disengagement and peace? Well, China says that's not a problem. It says military deployment should ease tensions, and it describes the border situation as quote-unquote generally stable. Listen to this.
The
current situation on the border between China and India is generally stable, and the two sides are in negotiations to settle border issues. Against such a backdrop, the words and deeds of major military and political officials and military deployments should help ease the situation and create mutual trust between the two sides, not the other way around.
Yes, words and deeds of political and military officials should ease the situation, not escalate it. China should take its own advice because its actions on the border with India can hardly be called peaceful. Recently, China also deployed surface-to-air missiles near the Indian territory of Ladakh. This includes the HQ-9 missile system. It's a Chinese copy of the Russian-made S-400 missiles. Chinese troops have not marched to the LAC empty-handed. They're armed with advanced weaponry. What about India? India is responding to Chinese aggression, building infrastructure at the border, including the construction of insulated cabins and huts on the front. This is where troops can stay during the harsh winters. India is also focusing on connectivity to mobilize faster in the event of an escalation. Reports say new tunnels and roads are being carved out. Recently, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated 63 bridges during a visit to Ladakh. These bridges are spread out across the entire line of actual control. India must ready itself because it shares a long border with China. But the rest of the world should also pay attention. Just because some countries do not share a border with China does not mean they're safe from Chinese aggression. Beijing, we can tell you, is ramping up its weapons development program. It is seeking capabilities to hit targets around the world with nuclear missiles. Look at this. These are satellite images from a desert in Yumen in China. Reports say China is building more than 100 missile silos here. It is bolstering its nuclear power. It has been building these silos for the past 6 months. Reports say they could be used to house the Chinese DF-41 intercontinental ballistic missiles. Experts believe that these missiles can be equipped with 10 nuclear warheads that can be mapped to hit different targets. Each missile is believed to have a range of 12 to 15,000 kilometers. With capabilities like these, China is arming itself to strike as far as the United States. It could hit the US within 30 minutes. No wonder Washington has taken note. They call China's actions, quote unquote, concerning.
I think what is fair to say is that these reports and other developments suggest that the PRC's nuclear arsenal will grow more quickly and to a higher level than perhaps previously anticipated. This buildup, it is concerning. It raises questions about the PRC's intent. And for us, it reinforces the importance of pursuing practical measures to reduce nuclear risks. Despite what appears to be PRC obfuscation, this rapid buildup has become more difficult to hide, and it highlights how the PRC appears, again, to be deviating from decades of nuclear strategy based around minimum deterrence.
Whether it's the border with India or the nuclear buildup, China's actions do not inspire confidence. And they're not even mincing their words. Yesterday, Xi Jinping promised to crack the skulls of his rivals, exact words spoken. If this doesn't ring alarm bells, nothing will. China's rise is the opposite of peaceful.